This is going to be a lesson on Johann Sebastian Bach's Prelude No. 1 in C. It's a very interesting and cool fingerpicking tune. So we have a C chord to start with, 3 on the 5th string, 3, 2, open, 1, open. And we're going to go all the way up with each finger on its own string. Then I come in with the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd fingers to finish those bottom 3 strings off again. You end up with 8 notes total. And then you get into chord changes. What happens there is we have that C bass stays there, but we go into a D minor chord down here. Open, 2, 3, 1. And we're also going to talk about how this kind of thing can be made a lot easier by not having to make all the notes of the chord drone together. Sometimes play the bass note and then let the rest of the chord move on. So this would be how we would do that. So I'm hitting that C bass, and then I'm letting the rest of the C chord resonate with itself. But I'm not making that C have to stay there. That gets very bassy sometimes, and sometimes you want to hear the notes of the chord play out. And it makes it a lot easier sometimes for these later things coming up. So here it's a lot easier to go hit that C bass and bounce off into a D minor chord. And then we're going to have a 2 in the bass on the 5th string. So this would be ringing it, but this would be without. Back to C. Okay, so each one of those bass notes, we're going to let those just hit and then move away and let the chord ring out by itself. Okay, now we're going to have a new one. We're going to have 3 and then 2, 2. We're barring these 2 middle strings, and we're barring the pinky down here on these 5s. So 3, 2, 2, 5, 5. And then those last 3 strings, 2, 5, 5. Now the next one is going to be 3rd fret of the 5th string with the middle finger. And you're going to go down to the 4th string, D. And go open to 4 with like a hammer on. Then you're going to continue to make this D chord, 4, 2, and 3. So we got. So we got that C bass coming into a D chord. Then we're going to go to 2 open. It's like a G chord with the 2 3s on the bottom. But our bass note is this 2 on the 5th string. So that one would have sounded like that if I'd have kept that bass. Okay, now we're going to do this. We're going to go into a C chord again, but we're going to have a 2 in the 5th string on the bass. We're going to do a hammer on 2 to 3 right there. So see, this would be the first note in that case, so we can ring the whole C chord, 3, 2, open, 1. And it's fitting with what we've been doing. Then we're going to have open to 3 on the 5th string. Then we're going open, open, open. And then 4, 2. So let's backtrack a bit. So let's go back to the 3, 2, 2, 5, 5. And then we have 3, 0, 4, 2, 3. And then we have 2 open, open, 3, 3. And then we're sliding kind of into a C chord. And then kind of an A minor chord with the A to C coming up here. And then this is like a D chord. Open, 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 4 and 2. Okay, new stuff. We got 5 and then 2, open, open, open. So we can let that 5 go right away. Once again, 5, 2, open, open, open. And this time we're going to get into a B7 shape. 1, 2, open 2, but we're going to start with that 5. So 5, 1, 2, open 2. Then we have one that's going to go like a D shape down here. So it's going to be like open, open, 2 and 3. But it's going to start with a G note. Then we get into this 3 to 6, like a hammer on, 3 to 6 on the big string. And then we're going 5, 3, 4 in this next one. So if you can kind of get that hammer and get that finger up tall, it gives you a second to put those other ones in place. So 3, 6, 5, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4. Then we're going to get into a 2 to 5 and 3, 5, 5. This is one where I think 2 notes by themselves is kind of going to become a little bit that we want to think about. Because it would definitely be difficult to hammer into that 5th fret and get these other 5s down here under that 3 to make that whole chord. So now we're going to come down to this F chord. We're going to kind of hammer in like we did on the C. And then go kind of a D minor 7 type thing with this O to 3 hammer. Now we're going to come into this G7. So we have a drop D on this tune. So we have the 5th fret here, and that's going to be with this 1st fret. It'd be kind of like how a G7 would kind of look like that. But we have this 5th fret on this one. So we're going to go. And we can let that 5 go away. That one kind of sounds good if you let it ring out if you wanted to. But you could also let it go and keep with our thing where we just have kind of a bass note or 2. Okay, then we're back to C. This one's a bit of a new situation. I'm going to have my middle finger on the 3rd fret of the 5th string. And I'm going to hammer into the open to 3 on the G string. I use that different finger so each one is kind of ready for where it needs to go. So here's kind of the bass note, and then open to 3 on the G string. Now those 3 can get into resonating, ringing out of over each other kind of a vibe. Doesn't always have to be 4, doesn't always have to be 5. So 3, open 3, 1, open, and then 3, 1, open. Now we're going to have a new one. This is going to be like a F major 7 down here. 3, 2, 1, open. But we have to spin it around and get this ring finger on this 3rd fret bass. And so that first one I let ring out. Here would be without ringing out. Now here's a new one, 4 to 3. This is definitely one you want to do like the first 2 notes and then do the next 3 notes. So 4 to 3, and then on the D string, 7, 5, 4. Then we're going to get into this tricky one, 6 and 8, down to the B string open. Then we're going to go 10, 7, open, 10, 7. So it's 6, 8, open on the 2nd string. So when you get in that 10, 7, open, doo-dee-dum-dum-dum. So when we get into that 6, 8 thing, we have 6 and 8 on the big 2 strings, then we have open B string, 2nd string. And then we come in here on the 10th fret of the D string, 7th fret of the G string, and open on the 2nd string. And we're going to go. So 4th string, 3rd, 2nd, 4th, and 3rd again. Just happens to sound weird with that open string. Doo-dee-dum-dum-dum. So that's how that part goes. 6, 8, open. 10, 7, open, 10, 7. It's a good tricky one. Then we're going to have 5, 8, 5. after the 5-8-5, we come down and have a new shape. Open on the second string, open, 7 and 5. So open on the second string, 7 on the third string, 5 on the fourth string. And we do those 5 notes. So it's and then this is the easier one, 5-7 and all 5s. So it's like so we got that drop D, so it's like a G bass. So easy enough on that one. Then we put a 6 down here in the second string and all 5s. Going to that G7, 5 with opens down to the 1. Now we got a new one, 5, and then this is a diminished shape. 6-7-5-7. So we got the kind of leave that bass alone if you want. You could ring it out. So like I say, some of these are more difficult and some of them sound better when you ring them out, and some of them you just get away with doing the bass or 2 bass notes and the rest of it. Then we've got this new one. This looks like an A minor 7 shape. Again, we have a G bass. So this is going to be 5-7, 5-5, and 8. Then we're going to go back to this. Looks like a G7, but we're going to have 2 1s on the bottom here. Back to a regular G7 with just the 1 on the bottom. Then we're going to have what looks like a C7 shape. We're going to double hit that 3 and then 5-3-5. And then we got our ending. Make an F shape. So we have all these notes. Double hit the C there. So all the way up and down to, and then go to the next 3. Go to the open there. So 3-0-3-0-3-2, 3-0-3-0-3-2. So it's got that little ending when we go to the 2 open on the G and B strings. 3 on the B string, 1 on the E string. And you come back with a 1, 3, open, 3, open, open. Kind of have a little B there, so we got the kind of go from the B to the D, and then 3, 2, open, C chord. So